Hi guys, I'm Andi Wooldridge.
And I'm Jonathan Smith.
So our webinar this evening is going to be talking about nutrition and building your health from the ground up. And the basis of that is your diet. So Jonathan is a registered dietitian. I'm here to host the webinar and ask some questions, but he's going to be the one answering and giving most of the advice tonight. But before we get started, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about why I do what I do and why I enjoy it, and then Jonathan will do the same. So I am a CrossFit coach. I'm an athletic trainer, and I just enjoy fitness, health, and wellness. At the end of the day, I like to help people more than anything else, and so that encompasses a lot of fields and directions. Right now, I'm building a basis, a clientele, and a business based off of health and wellness, and helping people live better lives. So with that, we're starting with food, nutrition, and helping you learn from the ground up how to live a healthier lifestyle. So Jonathan, how did you get into nutrition?
Yes, I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist, which just means I can use diet to treat disease conditions and, of course, teach general healthy eating. But my passion is just helping people reach their goals. I'm also a corrective exercise specialist. I coach CrossFit. I'm actually the owner here at the Institute of Community Wellness and Athletics. Um, Again, how does diet play into total performance, and how do you put all of that together to just maximize your health? That's what I love doing and really connecting with people. So that's why I'm here.
Awesome. All right, well, let's get started. We have some questions we've already put together to answer today to help you guys understand a little bit more about nutrition, break it down to the basics so you don't feel so overwhelmed when you're looking at food and diet, because it gets to the point that there's just so much information out there now that you don't know where to start.
Yes, there is tons of information. Weeding through that can be
Super. All right. So first question or first point today is let's just talk about the basic guidelines for a well-balanced diet and what that should look like.
So here's where people, we tend to dissect down too much and we get way too technical with our diet. Um, so to keep it really simple, I have a very easy motto. So if you follow this will help you sort of build your foundation of eating. So the model is consume a variety of foods from balance. Sorry, let me restart. Consume a variety of foods balanced by a moderate intake of those foods. And so what does that mean? Variety means you need to eat different foods from different food groups. So you shouldn't always just eat apples. You need to eat different types of fruits. Same thing with vegetables. Same thing with your protein sources. Get variety from within the food groups.
Sure, so don't get stuck eating one thing over and over.
Yeah, and that's an easy pitfall to fall into. So if you can get variety, you're doing a lot for yourself. Balance, what we're talking about there, is that you're getting all the types of food groups each time you're eating. So at meals, you should aim for 4 to 5 food groups. Snacks, at least 2 food groups. If you're getting more, that's great. So again, get the variety from within and then make sure you're balancing your eating with all those food groups.
Yeah. So going off the food groups, can we just talk about like macronutrients, what they really are, and why it's important to include them other than just variety in our meals?
Perfect. Yeah. So the macronutrients are protein, carbohydrates, and fat. We call them macronutrients because we need large quantities of them every day. You need all 3 of these in your diet. All of them are good for health. Depending on your goals, we might modify those, but proteins, really, we're going to build structures and repair tissue. They also work for a lot of enzyme pathways in the body. So very, very important in the fitness world. Unfortunately, we tend to get over-focused on proteins. So you need to make sure you're getting enough, but not too much. Carbohydrates sort of have that black label on them. You do need carbs. Everybody does, especially if we're active. Our brain thrives off carbohydrates. Again, depending on health conditions, you might moderate this differently, but the type of carbs to keep down in your diet are those refined sugars, sweets, cakes, cookies, candies, all that stuff. That's
good
what we need to
tasting
live.
stuff.
Yes. The carbs we need, fruits, vegetables, whole grains. So you definitely need those in your diet. And then fat's the last one. Very, very important. You don't need to avoid those. Getting those from balanced and variety of sources is really important. they all do
So
different things.
Mythbuster, do fats make you fat?
Not at all. Typically, what makes you fat is overeating. So that fats balance within the diet are not going to make you fat.
Perfect. All right. Next point. Just talking a little bit about supplements and whether or not you need them in your diet or if you can get the nutrients that you need from whole foods. I know there's a million supplements out there these days and everyone claims that you can't get it from a well-balanced diet. You need to take this pill. Is that really a thing?
That is a complete myth, especially if we're talking general population and general health. We want to meet our dietary needs from whole foods. Our body's going to process them a lot better. That said, there are times when supplements are important. You definitely want to be under the care of a dietitian or a physician for certain types of supplements. But again, the fitness world is overwhelmed with supplements and it's a huge industry. So my recommendation with supplements, you always need to know why you're taking it. And it should be a reason more than your friend told you should. And then you need to be able to measure that reason. So if you're taking protein to gain more strength, start at a point and see if it actually is helping you gain strength.
Sure.
And if not, don't spend your money.
There you go. All right, moving on. If you don't know where to start, where is a good baseline to start? Starting simply. You don't necessarily want to make a 180 turn in your diet. That's hard to sustain for someone that has a regimented, ritual way of eating. So where should you start if you want to start eating?
Like going back to the balance, that's probably the best place to start. What is most lacking in your diet, or what do you feel you're over consuming? So a good one, especially in our culture today, is just getting rid of sweetened beverages. Keep it simple. That change alone will make a big difference. If you feel like you eat very healthy and you're just not seeing results, and you're a consistent snacker throughout the day, change to eating 3 meals a day. If you're a 3 meal a day person, change to snacking throughout the day. It's those simple changes that will actually get the biggest benefit, at least in the short term. If you're really stuck, again, that's where you need to seek out somebody who can help you and figure out what's best for you and where you're at.
All right, so basically going off of that, just some practical tips for people as they start to eat more variety and balanced diets. Some things like maybe shopping the perimeter of the store versus, the internal aisles, and then talk about maybe the hands and measuring foods that way.
Perfect. So going back to the shopping, the reason we say shop the perimeter, typically stores are going to put their whole foods and fresh foods on the outside. So that's why we want to stick to the perimeter. The interior is going to have our more processed foods. That's where all your canned stuff is. Not that that stuff can't fit into your healthy diet, but if you're loading up on the outside, you're going to limit what you do. The other tips for shopping are always go with a plan. So if you don't know what you're shopping for, you're going to come out of there with who knows what. Especially when it comes to fresh fruits and vegetables, have a plan for how you're going to use them so they don't just go bad sitting in your fridge. And the second thing, go on a full stomach. If you're hungry,
Never go shopping
hungry.
hungry.
You're going to buy crazy stuff, and that's just a fact. We all do it.
I have been there.
To the hand measurement, so this is a simple way that you can sort of quickly measure to make sure you're getting enough food. So protein is the size of your palm. Carbohydrates or vegetables, we're looking at our fist. The other carbs, fruits and grains, you're looking at a cup handful. And then fats, we're looking at just the volume of our thumb. So for women, you need 4 of each of those. So 4 palm sizes of protein daily is the starting point, and then you need double that of 8. So for each of those hand sizes, it's 4 for women, 8 for men. And that's a really easy starting point that you can know you're at least fueling yourself, and that's going to help you that variety.
Yeah. And no matter where you are, you're not going to lose your
That's
hand.
right. Yes.
Even if you're out to eat, you can help measure.
Yes, it's a great tool for being out to eat.
Question: is eating healthy more expensive? And if so, what are some ways to cut costs?
Not at all. In fact, there's great studies out there to show that eating healthy can be a lot less expensive. Again, it comes back to the plan. If you don't have a plan, it's really easy to waste food, and that's where some of the expensive in with a plan, you're going to save all your food and use it. So that's really the big thing. Again, if I'm buying especially local fresh stuff, you're going to save a lot of money on that. But you need to know where you're going, where are the best places to shop. But even all the big supermarkets, it's very easy, and they actually have a lot of programs set up to help guide you through the store so that you're not going outside of your budget to buy those healthier options and those whole food options.
So speaking of that, looking at fruits and vegetables in particular, there's obviously seasons for different fruits and vegetables, and so they're a lot cheaper in the summertime or whenever they're most produced. Is it nutritional to buy the frozen version if they're seemingly expensive during a certain time of year, but you want to use them in your diet?
So the freezing techniques now are conserve most of the nutrients. So the hierarchy always goes fresh, then frozen, then canned. So if you can buy it fresh, buy it fresh. And we'd love to do seasonal, so we're utilizing the food that we produce at the time of year. But again, if you have a plan and a recipe that calls for something, frozen is a great alternative.
Okay. And then canned last.
And canned last.
Next question. We want to address our basically yo-yo dieting and fad diets and people trying one after the other, trying to figure out what works best for them. Do fad diets work, and should you ever be on a diet, or is it more of a lifestyle, eating balance, getting variety, and not worrying about getting really strict on one thing to try to lose weight so you fall off the bandwagon?
Right. That's a really good question. Yes, you never want to yo-yo. That's a very common thing with the fad diets. Yes. And it's easy to do. One of the biggest problems with fad diets is they create this feeling that there isn't any point. So that's why we use the term lifestyle. We want to find something that we can sustain for our life, or at least with a few modifications. Those fad diets, again, some of them are going to teach very good principles, which is great. But if you're doing a diet that's 30 days or 90 days, and you don't have a plan for what you're going to do after that, you're just going to fall back into old habits. The other problem with fad diets, a big red flag, is they're cutting out entire food groups. That should throw up the warning signs. Why are you cutting that out? Are there health reasons you need to have it out? Are they just doing that so they can make it seem like you're losing a lot of weight rapidly? Why are they doing that, and is it the healthiest option for you? You need to weigh those things. But we always want that lifestyle change. So if you're using the fad diet to jumpstart it, that's okay, but make sure you have a plan for afterwards.
Definitely. Yeah, that really helps. Planning seems to be the theme.
Yes.
So number one most important thing you can do when you're starting a new diet or a new lifestyle, you're trying to live a healthier way of living, changing your nutrition. Number one best thing you can do is, I would say, just being consistent.
Yes. So whatever it is, you've got to give some time. So even if it's a fad diet, if you don't stick with it, you're never going to know if it works for you or not. But yeah, you've got to be consistent. It takes about 6 months for the body to really adjust. So even if you're seeing a lot of progress, you've got to stick with that long term so that it's sustained by the body, and that weight loss that you achieve will be maintained in the long term. So really thinking of things in chunks of 6 months and sticking with it, that consistency is definitely key.
Having some accountability, maybe someone else doing it with you or helping you.
Yes, whatever strategies you can put around to help you, whether it's a team of people or a facility that supports you or family, whatever it is, you need support. Otherwise, you're not going to be successful.
Humans need support.
Yes.
All right, so moving on to our bonus topics, we just have a few questions we were going to address the individuals asked. Okay, so one of those is, for those that travel a lot for their jobs or they don't have access to a full kitchen all the time, what are some recommendations you would have for eating healthy without having the ability to cook in your own kitchen?
So that also comes back to having a plan. If you're traveling a lot, you need to pack non-perishables. So pack dried fruit, pack nuts, pack trail mix or bars, whatever you like. again, find things that are more whole foods, less processed, the better, especially when it comes to the bars. Pack instant packs of oatmeal, things like that. So if I'm in a hotel room, I'm most likely going to have a mini fridge and microwave and a coffee pot. So with a coffee pot, I can make instant oatmeal. And if I have dried fruit and nuts, I can throw that in there for a really quick breakfast.
So you got carbs and fats.
That's right. So if I have yogurts that are available, most places will sell little yogurts. You can get that. You can add your nuts to that or whatever else you brought. So again, that's going to really cover you. It's having that pre-plan, bringing stuff with you.
Sure.
But traveling to, looking at where you're staying, you can request a mini fridge and see what kind of markets are close by and go shop at least for breakfast items. And that way you know you at least can start your day healthy. Again, you can do a lot in the microwave. Yeah, we'd love to cook on the stovetop, but that's not always an option.
Right. And then also on that point of people that, whether you're a college student living in a dorm, someone that doesn't just have access to a kitchen on a daily basis in their lives, they're not traveling, that's just where they are in their life. Is that a similar point as maybe have a mini fridge and some things you can make quickly?
Yes, exactly. A lot of easy prep vegetables are nice that don't need cooking. So you've got your vegetables available because those are one of the things that typically goes when we don't have access to cooking. So, carrots, broccoli, celery, all those things that are easy to prep, have those available. Rotisserie chickens are also very nice because then that's a nice
has awesome rotisserie
lean
chicken.
meat that you can shred, and you can do a lot with that. If you have lettuce, you can make a nice chicken salad. If you have tortillas, you can make fajita stuff, and with your fresh veggies, things just aren't going to be cooked. But again, utilizing your microwave, often vegetables and fresh vegetables in there and steam them in the microwave.
Yeah, those are some great tips. So last question is for people that might be on a certain diet or have certain beliefs or religious reasons for not eating food groups, whether that might be meat or animal products in general, lactose intolerance, maybe gluten problems. What are some ways of getting around that and still incorporating variety and making sure you're getting enough protein and whatnot in your diet?
So when people are dealing with that stuff specifically, I'd really recommend seeing a professional. But it is perfectly healthy to eat any type of those. You just have to know a lot more to make sure, specifically if you're doing vegetarian or vegan, you've got to make sure you're getting enough protein. That also tends to be a very bulky diet. So you're eating a lot of food that fills your stomach, but it's not very calorie heavy. So it can be hard to get enough calories on those diets. So if you're doing that, you need to make sure you're seeking out professional help so you know you're meeting all your needs and satisfying all those. Especially if you're an athlete, you're very concerned with getting enough calories and getting all those nutrients to maintain our health as well as our performance.
Definitely. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate the information. Take your time to sit down. I hope that you guys got something out of this and you've gotten at least a few more tools in your toolbox to start using and living a more healthy, holistic, well lifestyle. And if you just incorporate one or two things that we've talked about today, you're already 10 times better off than you were. You're going to start taking those steps in that journey to a healthier and better you. So thanks again for taking the time to sit down with us. We know your time is valuable, but I hope that you found this information just as valuable, and you'll stay tuned for upcoming webinars. And if you have any questions, Jonathan is an awesome resource to reach out to. I'll be sending out some emails after this, so you have his contact information if you live in the Albuquerque area and you're interested in seeking professional help. He is more than happy to and willing to help, and he'll be able to get back to you as well. And we will go from there. Sound good?
Wonderful. Sounds good.
All right, guys, have a great night. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time.